Mark, it's second versus third this weekend at the Abbey Stadium. Doesn't get much more exciting than that at this point in the season, does it?
No, great game for us to look forward to. Two good teams, want to go and score goals, so we're really looking forward to it.
And they're a side, obviously, that carry a large threat. They've been leading the charge for much of the campaign. You put two past them without reply here at the New Lawn back in December, and I suppose that's a performance and a result that you'll be looking to replicate almost exactly. Of
course, in an ideal world, we'd love to play like that again. We've had to go about things a little bit differently recently because we haven't got that sort of what you would call a technical midfield player that can get on the ball and string loads of passes together. We've had to go about a different way at the minute. But if we can play like we did on that day, it'd be ideal, yeah.
And it's the front men for Cambridge, particularly Paul Mullin, that have been so dangerous and absolutely key for them this season. Is it fair to say that should you be able to shut them out, you'll have a much better chance at winning?
Yeah, of course you want to stop the opposition's best players playing if you can. And I say we always respect the opposition. We know Cambridge have had some fantastic results and some late winners, and you know they've done fantastically well. You know the manager Mark and his assistant Gary have put a real exciting team together. Paul Mullin has taken all the glory, scored an unbelievable amount of goals this year. Joe Ironside with him. So we know we have to play really well on the day. No one's going to give us anything. We have to go and fight and scrap and try and play well.
And there was a short period this season, I think, where if a team managed to shut Jamil Matt out, Forest Green would struggle to score more than one maybe. But in recent weeks and months, you've had a real effort from your midfielders and your defenders, and those goals are starting to come from all over, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah, it has to continue. You know, we need Kane Wilson chipping in with goals. Need Nicky Cadden chipping in. Elliot Whitehouse, Ebo Adams, Don Bernard, Aaron Collins. We need all of them chipping in with goals.
And a word on the injuries as well. You've obviously got a bit of a depleted squad at the moment, especially with the suspension of Elliot Whitehouse from Saturday's game. The midfield's looking a little bit thin at the moment, isn't it? So is it going to be a bit of a change of shape for this one?
We're going to have to be creative. So, you know, we could easily have three attackers playing in midfield on Saturday, or at least two, but should make it an entertaining game. But we won't look for any excuses. Whatever team we put out, we know that those players are going to give everything for the cause, and the boys that get an opportunity will be fighting hard.
Should it come to it, do you think Lewis Thomas might be able to put in a shift in a holding role in midfield?
Well, with the way he passes the ball, why not? I'm sure he could.
And it's that sort of creativity that you mentioned there, and the adaptability that has been so crucial for, every side this season, but Forest Green have done it particularly well, haven't they?
Yes, the players have been brilliant against adversity, and when the chips are down and having to bounce back and players out of position, they've come up with the goods, and full credit to them.
And it's the top of the table clash, as we've discussed, and I suppose were you watching the results this weekend? Some really good ones rolling in with Cheltenham and Newport losing and Tranmere failing to win at Grimsby.
It just shows you that, you know, when people will look at certain games, that's an easy win. I'm sure when we played Southend, people were saying, well, that's an easy win for Forest Green. Or when we played Stevenage, there is no easy games. And if you lose a game, it doesn't mean that you're a bad team or you're a bad player or a bad coach. It's just the way the season is, and you have to bounce back. So when I saw those results, it didn't shock me one bit, and I'm sure some of those teams will bounce back. We have to make sure that we concentrate on ourselves, like I keep talking about. We focus on what we've got to do, and that is we've got to run, fight and scrap harder than whoever we're playing against before we do anything else.
And it's not a cliche I particularly like to use, but if ever a game was described as a six-pointer, would it be this one?
If you wanted to term it as that, you only get 3 points for winning it. I know that. So if we win on Saturday, it doesn't mean anything apart from we've got 3 more points closer to where we want to be. If we lose it, we can't come out of the top 3, I don't think. So it's not the be all and end all, but that doesn't take away the importance and of how much and how much we want to win it.
And as you say there, it's the same 3 points that you get for beating any side in the league. So as much as a win there would be a fantastic result and a defeat would be a really frustrating one, it doesn't matter who you're playing, does it? As long as you mentioned time and time again, as long as your boys go out there and do what they're capable of, those 3 points could well be up for grabs.
That's it. We just have to remain consistent. We have to keep our calm. We have to be adaptable. We have to be flexible. We know that at times in games we're going to come under pressure. We have to make sure we deal with that. We then have to put the opposition under pressure and see where it takes us. And I'm sure that fans all over the country watching their teams will be looking at their remaining games saying, where we'll get 3 points there, we'll get a point there, we'll lose there, we'll definitely get 3 points there, and they'll come up with a total at the end of it. And it never works, does it? It never works like that. So that's why we just focus on the next game and we try and get a positive result on Saturday.
Yeah, I imagine if at the start of the season you were to predict how many points every side would finish on, stick some money on that, you'd be a very wealthy man, wouldn't you?
Exactly that, mate, yeah.
And this one, is it games like this that you miss the fans the most and you really want them travelling in their numbers and getting behind the boys, and it's that extra noise that just sucks the ball into goal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been it's a tough one, and I think the players, it's harder for the players, because when there is a crowd there and it's easier for them to get up for the games. But every game at the minute is like a training session, so it is difficult. But I'm sure come August that crowds will be back to normal, or they should be, and we'll see that again.
I know your side have lost very, very few games this season, so the stat might not mean that much, but in front of fans this season, undefeated. So I imagine it's a case of just willing them back as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think football means nothing without the fans, does it really? We've got to do it. We've got to play the games. Players have done fantastic, but can't wait for next season.
Fantastic stuff, Mark. Thank you very much for your time and all the best on Saturday.
Cheers.